68 or call 311. Elementary students joined with the Los Angeles Police Department to kick off National Bullying Prevention Month in October. The event was held to raise awareness and to be a call to action against bullying. Bullying is defined as unwanted, aggressive behavior amongst children that involves real or perceived power imbalance. These behaviors can be verbal, social, or physical and can happen to an individual in person or on the internet. National Bullying Prevention Month provides an opportunity to raise awareness of bullying prevention through events and education. For additional information on bullying prevention, visit speakoutagainstbullying.org. The LA Zoo is launching a Teen Council for Conservation to create pathways toward a future centered on conservation solutions in LA. The Teen Council will focus on issues of climate, conservation, and social and environmental justice. The program will focus on the teens' strengths as leaders and advocates while developing skills in conservation and community building. Participants will serve for a 9-month term with an estimated 5 to 8 hour per month commitment and receive an educational stipend of $300 per month. To be eligible for the program, which begins in November, applicants must be ages 14 to 18, live within the city of LA, and be enrolled in high school. Applications are due by October 24th, with more info available at lazoo.org/join-our-community.
As a young girl, I dreamed of becoming a firefighter, but not seeing female firefighters made me think it was impossible. To encourage young girls to pursue a career in the fire department, the LA Fire Department launched a girls' camp. This is a chance for girls to get hands-on experience of what the job entails and meet the female firefighters who've paved the way for them.
Our fire department is hosting a girls' camp to just introduce young girls who are interested in perhaps a career in the fire service. It allows the girls to see what we do, gives them a chance to put everything on, our equipment, carry some of the tools, do a little manipulation with the hose, just give them a view that they can do it at a very young age, and maybe just open the door to different opportunities or different venues that they might want to explore.
We have about 60 young girls that are in high school and some are early into their college years. And it's just an opportune time to be able to plant that seed early, to show them and to demonstrate that they can do this job. This could potentially be a career for them.
Once I started high school, I started looking more into becoming a firefighter, but I never got the opportunity to go into things like this girl camp today. I've always wanted not a normal job, I guess, something that was exciting and out of the ordinary and something that you don't see a lot of women doing.
It allows them to really see the resources and support that maybe they haven't been introduced to really open up doors to maybe this is a possibility and show them what they're capable of by giving them hands-on experience. To get hands-on with this equipment that most people don't get to do, that's exciting and inspirational by itself. This is something, a resource that I wish I had growing up, but I was never introduced to it. So to see this and see the girls get involved is pretty exciting for me.
And we just want you to have fun, to enjoy yourselves, and whether it's firefighting or something else, we hope today opens up your horizons.
I am a first gen, and my goal is to transfer into UCLA for the paramedic program. And we've never in our family have had firefighters or policemen or anyone in the field, so it's a first for our family.
This is a first class since the freeze of the pandemic, and so it's been very successful. We've had a lot of gals not necessarily become firefighters, but have gone on to become professionals and CEOs and managers, supervisors, and other professions. So it's given them the confidence, it's instilled the competence. Sky's the limit. So it's really been successful in many different ways.
This is my career path, and to see all these women, all these firefighters, it encourages me to become a firefighter because this is my goal.
It definitely is worth the investment today and see what we can get out of it tomorrow.
Hispanic Heritage Month is a time to celebrate the rich cultures that are a big part of LA city fabric. Channel 35 had a chance to talk to council member Curran Price and his staff about the history, traditions, values, and cultural contributions of Hispanic heritage in Los Angeles. Take a look.
Hispanic Heritage Month is so important to me because it's my identity. I wear it with me every single day.
I think Angelino should care about Hispanic Heritage Month because Hispanics contribute a large amount of the culture of Los Angeles.
This is an important month because it allows us to really pause and reflect on our history, on our traditions, on our values and cultural contributions.
September 15 to October 15 is historically the time where many Latin American countries declare their independence. So I think it's a very important month for us to pause, learn about our history, pass it on to new generations, and to also celebrate the contributions that we have given to our nation as a whole.
I think the reason why it's important to me, it's a reminder, I think not just for our staff, but really for myself to understand the privileged positions that we're in to affect policy at the scale that we are here in the city of Los Angeles. I don't think there's folks that sometimes realize the decisions that are being made on their behalf. And so I would like to know that there is somebody with maybe my lived experience representing their interests in the decisions that we're making daily here at City Hall.
I have a diverse staff. It represents the diversity of the community. Individuals on staff are from Mexico, from Colombia, from El Salvador, from Guyana, and parts of the diaspora. And that represents the constituents that we serve. It's important that we recognize the diversity because it's in that diversity that we have our strength. Members of my staff have been undocumented. They know what it's like to be struggling, to be in the shadows, and they have an opportunity to provide the kind of leadership, the kind of positive, progressive support that's important, not only in our district, but citywide.
I mean, Los Angeles is really the fabric of, the social fabric, of the cultural fabric, really, of this country. And so being able to celebrate that is so important because it just gives you more pride, more civic pride in what your city is, to be able to go down the street and being able to be exposed to a variety of different cultures. And really, that's the case throughout the city.
I think it's important to realize that we are all in this together. We have come through this very perilous time as a community, and we continue to strive and move forward. We know there have been some obstacles, but there are lots of opportunities. And so my message is that we just have to continue working together, working collaboratively, building upon the strengths that we have individually, and recognizing that together we can achieve all great things.
In our feature story this week, our own Anita Bennett sits down with LA Police Department Deputy Chief Amada Tingrides. She discusses the work that the Community Safety Partnership Bureau is carrying out and how they are building trust with the community. Let's hear this story.
Tell us a little bit about the work that you're doing in the Community Safety Partnership Bureau.
The Community Safety Partnership Bureau started in 2011, and we have dedicated police officers assigned to public housing developments in city parks that have experienced a high rate of crime and in the past a lack of trust with law enforcement.
So what's been the reaction from the community to the work that's being done?
The reaction from the community from when we started to where we're at now has been transformational. When we first began, there were folks in the community that didn't believe they were going to have dedicated police officers that wanted to come in and build relationships and work with trust and humanizing one another.
How does policing and what you're doing, how does it diffuse racial tensions?
Anytime that you're willing to understand the cultures of the community that you're working in, and you have an organization and a department that now reflects the community that you're working in, all of that helps build trust and relationships and diffuse tension. One of the reasons why this program was so important and placed in some of our most vulnerable communities was because of a lack of trust and the tension between law enforcement and the community. And when the officers set out understanding that they weren't going into these communities to suppress it, but they were actually going into these communities to understand it and make a change and work together, that diffuses that tension and that allows a window for us to come together to make change in the community.
On a personal level, how do you connect with the community?
I connect with the community by being out in the community. I spend a lot of time working alongside my officers, going to community events, engaging with what's really going on in the community. That allows me to talk to people. That allows me to understand what's going on, engage how the community is feeling about how they're being policed in our city. My hope in the future is that more community members step up and are willing to listen and work through a truth and reconciliation process to build those relationships with law enforcement, to make change in their community, and also for the officers to really see that they have made a difference in the community, and for the officers to feel empowered to continue to work in this fashion to make change in the community.
Celebrate diversity at the Real Abilities Festival, LA. Warm up for Halloween with Barrio Vamps and Cholita Vinyl Club, or join a 9-day-long Dia de los Muertos at El Pueblo. All this up next on Things to Do.
Celebrate the diversity of our shared human experience at the Real Abilities Film Festival, Los Angeles. This event is the largest festival in the U.S. dedicated to promoting awareness and appreciation of the stories of people with disabilities. During 3 days, attendees will be able to enjoy films like Academy Award winner Coda and participate in post-screening conversations amongst other engaging activities. Real Abilities Film Festival, Los Angeles will take place at downtown LA's California Plaza from Friday, October 21st through Sunday, October 23rd. For more information and to purchase tickets, visit realabilitiesla.org. 'Tis the month of trick-or-treating, and at the Edendale Branch Library, the Barrio Vamps Car Club and the Cholita Vinyl Club will be bringing some Halloween vibes to adults and children alike. Admire some of the restored and customized classic cars from this all-female car club while you dance and listen to the music beats from the Cholita Vinyl Club, made up of women, non-binary, and LGBTQ+ people. Join this free event, open for everyone, to get into the Halloween spirit with a very unique treat or trunk experience where candy will be provided. The event takes place at the Edendale Branch Library on Saturday, October 22nd at 3 p.m. For more details about this event, visit lapl.org/events. Dia de los Muertos is a day when loved ones that have left us are remembered and honored. In typical Mexican tradition, Olvera Street will be home to a 9-day Dia de los Muertos celebration at El Pueblo. Join this culturally rich event and enjoy theatrical performances, a colorful parade, vibrant community altars, a 5K race, face painting, and much more. This is a chance to experience the combination of ancient traditions with modern-day interpretations. Dia de los Muertos at El Pueblo is an open, free, and family-friendly event that will take place along Olvera Street from Tuesday, October 25th until Wednesday, November 2nd. For more information about the program, visit elpueblo.lacity.org/events. And that's a look at some things to do.
And that's it for this edition. I'm Natalia Bilbao, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thank you so much for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org, and we're also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. See you next time for more LA This Week.
Ever notice how we no longer focus our attention on one thing at a time? We don't just walk or even just drive. We focus on so many different objects, we don't notice the dangers ahead of us. We're a distracted society. We're blind to the importance of being safe, to the things that really matter. Blind to the things that could actually save our life. We're blind to everything surrounding us. Be aware, move with care, watch the road.
Good morning. We ready? Are we live? Yep. Okay. Good morning and welcome to the meeting of your Los Angeles City Council. Today is Wednesday, October 19th. Mitch O'Farrell here, President Pro Tem of the City Council. With me in the council chamber are essential staff only, as permitted under Assembly Bill 361. All public comment will be taken via teleconference. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes, Mr. President. Blumenfield.
Blumenfield present.
Bonin.
Bonin present.
Buscaino.
Good morning here.
Cedillo absent. De Leon absent. Harris Dawson.
Here.
Hutt.
Here.
Koretz.
Present.
Krikorian.
Here.
Lee.
Present.
O'Farrell.
Present.
Price. Absent. Rahman.
Here.
Rodriguez. Absent. 10 members in the quorum, Mr. President.
Thank you. Please state our first order of business.
Approval of the minutes of October 18, 2022.
Councilmember Buscaino moves. Councilmember Hutt seconds. Next.
Commendatory resolutions for approval.
Councilmember Blumenfield moves. Councilmember Lee seconds. Next, please.
Mr. President, there is a request to continue item 20 on the continuation agenda to Friday, October 21st.
All right. Without objection, that shall be the order. Next, please.
Item 1 is a item notice for public hearing. Items 2 through 5 are items for which public hearings have been held. Items 6 through 19 are items for which public hearings have not been held. 10 votes are required for consideration.
Thank you. Without objection, those items are now before us. Members, please raise your hand if you are requesting to speak on any of these items. Special. Let us know if you're calling on an item for purposes of an amendment or for discussion. So far, I see none. All right, seeing as no hands raised. Thank you, members. We're now able to vote on the items that have not been called special and that have had public comment in committee. Mr. Clerk, which items are before us?
Mr. President, items 2 through 5 are now before council.
Great. Please call the roll, Mr. Clerk.
Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Buscaino, aye.
Cedillo absent. De Leon absent. Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Hutt.
Aye.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price. Absent. Rahman.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Absent. 10 ayes. These items are adopted.
Thank you, and thank you, members. We are now ready to bring in public comment. Mr. Clerk, would you please read out the call-in information that was also provided on the agenda? And Mr. City Attorney, please help explain the rules.
Yes, Mr. President. As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press *6 to unmute. Let me repeat. Call 669-254-5252 and use meeting ID number 160-535-8466 and then press pound. Then press pound again when prompted for participant ID. Once admitted into the meeting, press *9 to request to speak. When it is your turn to speak, an automated Zoom voice will ask you to press *6 to unmute.
To members of the public calling in, when it's your turn to speak, please state which of the agenda items you'd like to speak on. You have 1 minute per item to speak, up to 3 minutes total. And if you wish, 1 minute for general public comment. Please speak to the items before beginning general public comment. We'll tell you when your time's up. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not on topic, or if we can't tell whether you're on topic, you'll get one brief warning from me or the president. At that point, you need to get immediately clearly on topic, or unfortunately, you'll forfeit your speaking time and we'll move on to the next speaker. The items that are open for public comment are items 1 and 6 through 19. That's 1 and 6 through 19. You're free to speak about the other items during general public comment, if you wish, or anything else within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city. For members of the public calling in to speak, when it's your turn, an automated Zoom voice will prompt you to press *6 to unmute yourself. If you don't do so, council staff will prompt you once more, typically by reading off the last 4 digits of your phone number. At that point, you need to unmute yourself right away, or unfortunately, we'll skip over you. Finally, if you're also listening to the council meeting on your computer, channel 35, YouTube, or other device, please turn down the volume on those other devices immediately when it's your turn to speak, because the feedback and the time delay between the live meeting and the broadcast, it really causes a great deal of confusion if you continue to listen on the other devices. Also, please keep one ear to the phone so that when it's your turn to speak, you hear right away. If you're only listening on another device because of the time delay, you won't hear right away. And with that, Mr. President, we are ready to begin public comment.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Let's bring in our first caller.
Caller with the last 4 digits, 5868. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on. Caller with the last 4 digits, 5868. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello,
Hi, which items would you like to speak on?
public comment.
Very good. So you have a minute. Please begin.
Okay, I'm asking Kevin De Leon not to resign. Of course, it's up to him, but he has done a great job and his real voters in his district respect him. But I know the pressure on him is great with the LA City Council acting like he killed someone, so who knows? And then those crazy radical activists now seem to be getting more violent, attacking the police to get into these meetings. Do not defund the police. Finally, is anyone looking for the rat who recorded that private conversation? It just seems too weird. Thank you.
Thank you.
Caller with the last 4 digits, 5404. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Which items would you like to speak on?
Great. So my name is Jamie York. I'm representing the Reseda Neighborhood Council for item 6 with a community impact statement, but I also have personal public comment for item 18 and general public comment.
Yes. Yes.
Hello?
And that's it, yes.
Yes,
Hello?
sorry about that. Yes, so we're going to set the clock for 5 minutes for the community impact statement. We request that you please don't become repetitive, though. When you're done, we'll then move on to your individual comment in your individual capacity. So please begin with the community impact statement.
Great. So this is regarding the telephone call-in with the AB 361 and COVID. So, and this is something we've read before, but now that members of the public may attend city council meetings in-person public comment will only be taken in person and not via teleconference. This inordinately impacts those that do not have the luxury of time to spend hours traveling downtown and accessing City Hall. Those with medical problems that make it still unsafe for them due to the undue risk of COVID exposure, those that lack access to transportation, work, provide child or elder care, and those who face other inequities all deserve the chance to have their voices heard. Teleconference public comment has also allowed LAUSD students to participate in local government without missing inordinate amounts of class time. The Reseda Neighborhood Council objects and continues to object to the inadequate notice regarding the cessation of telephonic comment and requests that hybrid meetings be held to accommodate not only public comment, but also neighborhood councils presenting community impact statements. Community impact statements are the main way in which neighborhood councils earn their seat at the table and speak for their communities. There was a previous neighborhood council community impact statement town hall, and then President Nuri Martinez, she told neighborhood council members that a hybrid system would be available when council resumed. The city council has to prioritize the voices of the people it serves. As we now have a new council president, we are calling on Paul Krikorian to create a hybrid system for comment. People who serve on neighborhood councils, we're not paid, we're not staff. Many of us do not have the luxury of traveling over an hour to come downtown to speak for 3 minutes, and then an hour back. And I've had to do that multiple times just to speak for my community. I'm not paid, but I do care deeply about this city. And I know that I am not the only neighborhood council member that feels this way. Please bring a hybrid system in. Other cities are doing this. It's what we were promised, it's what we deserve. That is the end of the community impact statement.
Okay, thank you. I have to say, I forgot, which items did you want to speak in public comment proper in your individual capacity?
In my individual capacity, I'd like to speak on item 18, and I'd like to speak on general public comment.
Okay, so you have a minute for each. Please begin.
Great. So I don't understand why we have an item that is Kevin De Leon's item, and there was actually two. Item 5 was as well, but you already voted on it, on this agenda. You're saying that you want to do the people's business, and to a degree I get that, even though I disagree with it. I think that they both need to resign. However, why are we doing Kevin's business for him? Put pressure on him. Don't do anything from CD 14 or CD 1. So if he wants Eagle Rock Boulevard Assessor ID number 5473 to be heard, he needs to resign. Don't schedule any business from CD 14 or CD 1 until they resign. It's very easy. There are things that you can do that apply pressure, but that still allow you to do business. In my personal capacity, I also want to say, I came and spoke yesterday with 2 community impact statements for our community.
So we're in general now. Continue.
This is general comment. I came with 2 community impact statements for my community and was told there was only 3 minutes. But I need to remind this body that community impact statements aren't general public comment. Under rules that you guys passed under Council's Files 150389 and 150524, community impact statements are supposed to be separate from public comment. They're different. They're the work of bodies. They're the work of all volunteer bodies that across this city do an incredible amount of labor. We connect constituents with services. We probably keep many things from ending up at your offices. So the disrespect when we're not given the time that frankly we've earned, and there's really only 2 things that neighborhood councils get to do. It's community impact statements and spend a little bit of money that keeps getting cut seemingly each year. That's it. Those are the only 2 real powers we have.
Thank you.
It's disrespectful.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 8742. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
General public comment.
Very good. You have a minute. Please begin.
Good morning. My name is Sarah Wiltfong, and I'm calling on behalf of the Los Angeles County Business Federation, also known as BizFed. We're an alliance of over 220 business organizations who represent over 410,000 employers in Los Angeles County. Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo, the time to resign is now. The business community, your residents, and your own colleagues have spoken, and it's time for you to step down so that our city can move forward, begin to heal, and finish tackling the many important issues that have been placed on hold because of your refusal to do the right thing for the city. You have proven yourselves completely unfit for office, and we're calling on you to step down now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 1075. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi,
Can you
which
hear
item?
me? My name is Estella Flatos Hamilton. I'd like to speak on items 6, 7, 8, and general public comment, please.
Great. So you have 3 minutes for the items, followed by 1 minute for general public comment. Please begin.
Thank you. And I would like to say that I share the sentiments of the person who spoke prior to me about the community impact statements. Now for item 6, starting with item 6, AB 361, it says in this item, state of emergency as originally proclaimed. What is your evidence that we are in a state of emergency as it was originally proclaimed? Where is the rationale? Where is the ethics behind continuing these teleconference meetings, which I agree a hybrid would be a wonderful option. That would be great. However, meeting in person, making eye contact, having presence in the room, that's a right that's protected under our Constitution. So priority goes over our Constitution. You need to provide extreme evidence to show that there's a reason why you're taking me of my right to enter the City Hall freely without providing medical information that is private, sensitive, and right now highly stigmatized. So it's actually unsafe as a transgender person to walk into these places and provide medical, private, stigmatized information. So yeah, AB 361, you guys need to vote for a teleconference option. This needs to be voted out because it's absolutely irresponsible. For item 7, now, there is no emergency with the monkeypox. There is no evidence of an emergency with monkeypox. Aesop's boy who cried wolf, that's what's happening right here. We have people who have learned that they can use emergency money and emergency powers to strip people of their rights and to get a lot of money for themselves and their friends. That's ridiculous. For item 8, the COVID emergency. Where is the emergency? From the very beginning, the statistics have been biased. The statistics have been incorrect. They have admitted, all of these major bodies of authority, the CDC, have admitted that they have botched their statistics. So there is no emergency. You need to reevaluate and you need to take some self-reflection on whether you want to put yourself in this section of the history books. You guys want to be the ones who used an emergency to steal rights from the people? Right now, we're calling it California or the Soviet Union. That's what's happening. We're not going to let that happen, but you guys are putting yourselves in the place where you're at the foot of blame. And that, I wouldn't want to be there in this Nuremberg kind of situation where people are calling for Nuremberg trials. I wouldn't want to be complicit in this. Now, for my general public comment, to quote civil rights hero Pauli Murray, ambition reached. I have never been able to accept what I believe to be an injustice. Perhaps it is because of this I am America's problem child and will continue to be, end quote. We the people demand an end of the segregation vaccine mandates, rehire those city employees, and those segregation vaccine checkpoints at the entrance to City Hall. They violate the Brown Act. There should be no conditions to attending these meetings, to speak to you and look at you in the eye. Thank you for my time. God bless you.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 5245. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Good morning. I'd like to address all available items and general public comment, please.
Sure. So you have 3 minutes for items 1 and 6 through 19, followed by a minute of general public comment. Please begin.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to echo the comments of the exact previous caller and the caller that spoke regarding the hybrid meetings. The Los Angeles City Council is a criminally insane institution of organized crime and nothing more. Legendary corruption. Items 6 through 8, the caller's comments, I echo totally. In-person hybrid meetings are being conducted in Glendale, Torrance, other cities. Even the county board has hybrid meetings, both call-in and in-person. It's just another testament to the corruption of the Los Angeles Sleazy Council. Corruption, legendary corruption, that this hasn't already happened. Martinez, Cedillo, De Leon, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Gregorian, I demand that you immediately start hybrid meetings for people that cannot go downtown. I can go down anytime I want. Other people can go down anytime they want, but you're segregating other people, and it's all to shut the public out. Even in this so-called agenda, people read it, 20 minutes of public comment dedicated to a population of over 4 million people. You call that democracy, Mr. Krikorian? Do something about it. These other corrupt bastards sitting here aren't going to. Because you cut out a little piece of cancer, it doesn't mean it stops the rest of it. Institute hybrid meetings immediately. We demand it. Number 9, Farrell's Walk of Shame, Walk of Fame, Sarah Brighton. What should be included in this should be the legendary corruption of the LA City Council. Should have a Walk of Fame, legendary corruption. I demand that this be included in this motion. Number 10, Ramen and Correct. There's $39,000 for 2 solar speed panels. This list is a lot of money, it seems, but if that's what it costs, fine. Compared to, look at what Hutt and Ridley Uncle Thomas, who belongs in jail, 30-year pimp of the black community, can't fund the African marketplace with permits and fees, their costs. Ridley Thomas even tried to kill it. This is disgusting. These people, these are a bunch of small businesses.
You can go into general if you wish, Speaker. You can go into general now if you wish.
Okay, thank you, sir. Prove that you're not a hand-picked, bent-over stooge, Uncle Tom Sambo, like Dawson and Price and Ridley Thomas, and fund these people. We want them funded. The community wants them funded in Lamert Park. And stop the 4906, the 4118 criminalizing and abusing the homeless. What kind of insanity is this? You're going to evict a homeless person from under a bridge. That's great, Hutt. This number 19 bridge housing project. This sounds fantastic, Ramen. Cost, as opposed to Wesson, Garcetti, Martinez, and Dawson's HHH looting of $1.2 billion for developers building ground-up units at 7.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 4208. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, it's Rob Kwan. I'd like to speak on items 6, 8, and general public comment.
Great. So you have 2 minutes for those items, followed by a minute for general. Please begin.
Thank you, and morning, Fauble. On the state of emergency and 361, I just want to say it is absurd that you used COVID as an excuse to ban in-person attendance at these meetings. There's no possible way that was the first COVID exposure to happen in chambers over the last 6 months. I want to echo all of the concerns about remote public comment and ensuring that we have hybrid meetings, and bring us back to about 14 months ago when our now council president led the effort against enshrining public comment via remote method at local bodies like LA City Council. And I understand that his concerns were about the top-down approach from Sacramento, and feeling that, hey, we're Los Angeles, we can set our own rules. If we want to do this, we can do it ourselves. LA County's done it. It's been 14 months and our city hasn't. And I understand, I don't want to be too hard on our new council president because Nuri hated public comment. And there was no way she was going to let anybody even say a word about this thing. So I get it. But now that we are looking at things like the campaign finance reforms that you put forward yesterday, I just want to say under no circumstances should elected officials be choosing their watchdog. I don't know how you get it about redistricting. You've all realized that maybe elected officials shouldn't be choosing their, people drawing the line. Why should they be choosing ethics watchdogs? There's a fundamental problem with the motion you put forward yesterday. I hope it does get sorted out in committee. I also just want to say I challenge all of you to raise money for a recall against Kevin De Leon. We got to increase some pressure here, and y'all can all go around and raise some money, and I think Kevin will go around and realize that nobody's answering his phone calls and maybe decide to hang things up. Gil's another story. Councilmember Hutt, I don't want to judge you based upon Nuri's sins. The fact that Herb was used as a Trojan horse to bring you onto this council. But I do want to just say that, you know, I did notice that even after I warned you about it, it took you 3 weeks to complete your ethics training after you were sworn in. So just want to note this is your last and final warning. And I also want to note that there are a couple council members around the horseshoe that have really big behested payment problems. So, you know, maybe you should work on that issue as well, because I think that'll be coming to light. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kwan.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 0322. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Good morning, you can hear me?
Yes, we can. Which items would you like to speak on?
All items and general public comment, please.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for items 1 and 6 through 19, followed by a minute of general public comment. Please begin.
Okay, thank you. It's embarrassing that you held yesterday's meeting virtually so that you could push through a vote on council president without public dissent. You keep pushing item 20 because we all know that 4118 only exacerbates the homelessness crisis gripping this city. It's hilarious that Kevin De Leon is hiding from the public. Not one statement, but the first public comment 2 days in a row sounds like Kevin disguising his voice. I don't think Kevin should resign. This council is a joke. These meetings are illegitimate until De Leon and Cedillo resign. Calling someone a loser or ass is a mistake made in the heat of the moment. These racist, homophobic, and violent conversations weren't hasty. They were part of a strategic planning process to disenfranchise Black communities for personal power. That is not a mistake. These were not a few comments. They were city council planning conversations. And any council member who allows De Leon and Cedillo to remain
Speaker, sorry to cut in, but that was obviously general public comment that you've used. Do you want to talk about items 1 or 6 through 19?
I'm almost finished. I don't need all the minutes. Would you like to spread your legs while you speak down to me?
So, Speaker, do you want to speak on items 1 or 6 through 19? If not, you took up your minute of general, because that clearly wasn't on any of those items.
I have about 10 more seconds. As a District 14 resident, I would like to continue speaking on Kevin De Leon. And that was not a minute. I have a timer going myself.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Caller with the last 4 digits, 1669. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello?
Hi, which items would you like to speak on?
Yes, I would like to speak on item number 8 and general public comment.
Very good. So you have a minute for each. Please start with item 8.
Yes. Hello, my name is Hassan. I am a member of 8. I live in District 14. We stand firmly on the resignation demand. However, we are allies encourage that the City Council votes to extend the local emergency period to avoid causing additional harm to vulnerable communities by allowing emergency renters protections to late. We do not agree with having landlords as override. Koreans has taken many anti-harassment votes, didn't let the Tahoe ordinance to be passed. Last year, we asked for a city council president who supports tenants. For members only, the rest of the time, you know, I'm an organizer with ACE, so this is really important for the community that I represent in South LA or generally around the city of Los Angeles, to have somebody that is bipartisan and that is not, you know, only supporting the.
You can go into general. You have a minute of general public comment.
So it is important to have a vice president representative. this is it's just too fast to be asking to ask Krikorian to be a president when the public hasn't even got a chance to analyze the situation, and there hasn't been an investigation on any of the remarks that these city council members who need to resign. Yet we see, more people being evicted. We see huge amounts of people being harassed, and all the ordinance of Tahoe yet to be implemented. So there's a lot of things that are still falling in the cracks, and we should be considering, having Krikorian the president. We should be considering investigating and remedying what is being broken. Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits, 1403. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Which items would you like to speak on, Speaker?
Yes, thank you. You can spread your legs for me. All items and general public comment.
So you have 3 minutes for items 1, 6 through 19. Please begin with those and stay on topic, followed by a minute for general. Please begin.
Yes, I'll do my best. Item 1, fuck item 1. Item 6, fuck item 6. Item 7, monkeypox? Oh, is that something that Chonguito spread? Maybe that's what Nuri was talking about on the tape. We need to eliminate monkeypox. Let's do what Kevin De Leon would do and pull the curtain and see who the Wizard of Oz is. Why do people get monkeypox? You can only get it a couple of ways. My suggestion, if you can, stop fucking in the ass, and the spread of this disease will lessen. If you fuck in the ass more, it will spread more. God is trying to tell us something. What's he trying to tell us? Trying to tell us to fuck the right way, make kids. That's right, yeah. Number 8, fuck number 8. Number 9, I support. Yeah. Yes, in honor of Sean Murphy, I'm doing it that way. Number 9, support. Number 10, fuck number 10. Number 11, fuck number 11. Number 12, fuck number 12. Number 14, fuck number 13. No, you were on number 14. Don't interrupt me. Ow! Number 13, I support it. Number 14, I said fuck number 14. Number 15, fuck number 15. Number 16, I will remain neutral on number 16 until I receive a report by the FBI. Number 17, we will defer number 17 for 1 week to the FBI. Number 18, fuck number 18. Number 19, fuck number 19. Number 20, fuck number 20. Number 21, fuck number 21. Number 22, I support. Number 23, fuck number 23. Number 24, fuck number 24. Number 25, fuck number 25.
So we're actually on
number
numbers
26,
that...
fuck number 26.
Speaker, there is no number 24, 25, or 26. So do you want to go into general?
Oh, there is a number 26, but it's at the union headquarters.
So do you want to go
yes,
into...
now we will go on to the...
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry. I was reading from the secret agenda. I'm sorry.
You have a minute. Please begin.
Now we'll go on to the general comment. So, where's our new president? Paul Martin Krikorian. Why isn't he in the chair? Why is he hiding at home? Why doesn't he have the gavel in his hand? Could it be because he didn't receive 12 votes and you need a second reading? How come they didn't tell you about that? Well, the LA Times doesn't. That's right, they don't. But Kevin De Leon is open for business, 213-473-7014. He's not going to resign. He wants you to come get him, because he ain't going nowhere. He says, fuck all of you. Fuck Los Angeles. Fuck the police. Fuck LAFD. Fuck the city council. Fuck the mayor. fuck the DA, fuck the goddamn sheriff, fuck the LA County Board. Kevin's gonna stay, and he's gonna make his district the most powerful.
Okay, your time has expired, Speaker.
Speaker with the last four digits, 3784. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
All right, am I on?
You are. Which items would you like to speak on?
All right, 1 minute of general public comment.
You got it. Go ahead.
All right, once again, the people are outside of City Hall, and we are here even though you're not letting us in. We want the immediate resignations of Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon from City Council. And there should be no business before this council until we have the resignations. The people's business is the resignation. Nothing else is the people's business until we have the resignation. And especially since we're, you're voting on significant things like council president, and all kinds of other stuff, well, that they're still on the council. So while they're not attending meetings or anything, from what I can tell or anything, and haven't really been voting on anything, they may still be having an impact. And until they are off the council, no longer being paid a city council member,
Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits, 0981. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Public comment?
Very good. You have a minute. Please begin.
My name is Zora Fahim, founder of Los Angeles Alliance for Animals. The Griffith Park and Pony Ride and Petting Zoo contract renewal during violations of state and city law exposed the complicity, corruption, and lack of morality in the Los Angeles City Council and Recreation Park. With the whole world watching, Stephen Weeks has lied and continues to lie about the abuse and treatment of the animals at this park. But the problem is bigger than geriatric ponies being worked to death. Hundreds and thousands of Angelinos agree that it's time for the Los Angeles City Council to end the abuse of all geriatric ponies at the Griffith Park and Pony Ride because they are all suffering right now. We can't wait for a horse to drop with a child on their back. We shouldn't have to wait for increased profits for the city by converting this park to a non-animal model or better wages and protection for workers. We need to end pony ride contracts in the city of Los Angeles and have every single animal at that park be transferred to a sanctuary. The time is now. Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits, 0653. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Yes, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Which items would you like to speak on?
My name is Luisa Padilla-Maropoulos. I'm a founding member of the Echo Park Neighborhood Council, active up until 2019, current stakeholder, District 4. I would like to speak on public comment, please.
Please go ahead. You have a minute.
Yes, I want the public to know that the Echo Park Improvement Association is the nonprofit backed by Mitch O'Farrell. As you can see, he's fidgety up there. I wonder why, Mitch. Your nonprofit puts you in office, they have you in their pocket, and they have profited financially for what you have done to the people of color in Echo Park. You used the gang injunction to go after the brown people, and you did it on purpose. At your election, I was there when your policy writer, Christine Peters, said that they were going to get rid of all the Chicano nonprofits that help and stop helping the people of color in Echo Park. I do not lie. I would put my hand on the Bible to this. And I think it's a shame what's going on. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. You have a little more time.
Okay. Thank you. I would like to say that what happened to the people in Echo Park, oh my God, it was a slaughter.
Sorry,
and you used law to do.
We're out of, sorry, your time expired, but thank you for.
Speaker with the last four digits, 9265. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, my name is Charles Hsu.
I'm an organizer with ACE in District 10, and I'd like to speak on item 8 and general public comment.
Very good. So you have a minute for each. Please begin.
Okay, first of all, with regards to item 8, I urge the council to move forward as it has for the entire duration of the pandemic so far and extend the state of emergency. We are still in the middle of the pandemic, despite all appearances to the contrary, and the knock-on economic crisis that the pandemic has at least in part contributed to is severely affecting cost of living for all Angelenos and particularly working class communities of color, such as those we organize. So particularly in order to maintain the tenant protections, you need to extend that state of emergency. And in fact, you need to go further than that because the expiration of the tenant protections that you voted in, that the illegitimate council headed by Nuri Martinez voted in just before all of this hit the fan, that needs to be immediately rescinded. And these protections need to be extended indefinitely and strengthened in the form of the Tenant Bill of Rights. With regards to general public comment,
sure.
I just want to say that, we're in a situation now where there are 3 districts that have no voting representation. You're pretty much at quorum exactly with the numbers attending. And therefore, I call upon every council member, whether it be Nithya Raman, Mike Bonin, Marquise Harris Dawson, occasionally, with progressive inclination to realize the power that you now have to stop council business in its tracks whenever it goes against the will of the people. This means that council should only be moving forward with business like the extension of the emergency protections. It should not be moving forward with any 4118 resolutions. It should certainly not be voting in a council president who is notoriously anti-tenant, like Paul Krikorian. And furthermore, it should definitely not be sticking the fascist LAPD thugs on protesters outside the city hall chambers like it did yesterday. These scenes are absolutely despicable, and they speak to the fundamental illegitimate.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 2067. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi there, my name is Dan Welby. I am chair of the Libertarian Party of LA County. I would like to speak on items 6, 8, and general public comment.
Very good. So you have 2 minutes for those items, followed by a minute for general. Please begin.
Great. Some really good comments this morning, with the exception of that last gentleman. That was pretty interesting. He's like, don't trust your eyes. The pandemic is still going on, even though it doesn't look like it, right? There's still an emergency. It's insane, some of these people. Anyways, the emergency order ends now. It has been over 2.5 years since this emergency order started. What a ride it has been. I remember at first we washed our groceries. We quickly learned that was stupid and pointless. We also thought that putting cloth or surgical masks on our face was going to slow the spread. A lot of us knew rather quickly that was idiotic and unproven hogwash. Most of us know it now, as we have hindsight and data to prove it. Some of us still refuse to accept that their presumptions were false, or that they were lied to by so-called experts. Looking at you, Mitchell Farrell, sitting there by yourself with your fucking mask on. Anyways, it's just unbelievable. Okay, and then we have these supposed vaccines that come out. Wow, what we've learned about those things as time has moved on. I'm sure this council pays close attention. After all, you literally created a second tier of human being based upon whether or not somebody injected this into their body. That right there is a crime against humanity. And what's worse, we have been doing this to the children. It's disgusting. The history books will be brutal on all of you. You are all criminals for what you did during the pandemic, and I hope you all pay on some level for your egregious actions. I'm going to move on to my general public comment.
Okay.
I still haven't been to a meeting in person. I'm unvaccinated, and I refuse to go through the charade of testing when I am not sick or putting a diaper on my face. I do look forward to the day I come down and I can give a live public comment, though. I've only ever made comments on these Zoom calls. So, I am somewhat happy you hosted this meeting online as I can speak, but it's total bullshit that you're doing it. City Hall needs to be open as it was before March of 2020. However, when that happens, I do think that public comment should be made a hybrid system and should be much longer. Getting to downtown for many is a daunting task. The residents deserve to have phone call access to public comment, and we also deserve to be back in person with no segregation or restrictions. Again, my name is Dan Welby. I am the chair of the Libertarian Party of LA County. If you'd like to learn more about our diverse and inclusive party, please go to lplac.us. Peace, liberty, and justice for all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits 1211, please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on. Speaker with the last four digits 1211, please press *6 to unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Speaker, if you're there, please unmute yourself right away or we're going to have to move on.
I'm sorry.
Hi.
Who did you call?
Which items do you want to speak on?
I want to speak on the cruelty that still taking place in Griffith Park.
Okay, sounds like general public comment. You have a minute.
Public comment, please.
Yeah.
So, dear council members, the animals at Griffith Park and Pony Rights and petting zoo continue to suffer, and it must end now. As I'm in LA and LA constituent, I urge you to take stand and to eliminate pony ride contracts immediately and send all the animals to the sanctuary that is waiting for them. All the animals. Also, the pony operator is not abiding by state and city law. So please, ban this cruelty citywide. Angelinos are not for animal cruelty and have never been. The majority of us, at least. And it speaks loud how we treat animals. You've done so few things good in the past. Thank you for that. The fur ban and so on. Bullhawk ban. Thank you very much. So this can be replaced with non-animal models like you see at Santa Monica Pier.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last four digits 8583, please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Speaker, if you're there,
Hello?
please. Yes, you're on. Which items would you like to speak on?
5, 18, 6, 19, public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for those items, followed by a minute for general public comment. Please begin.
Okay, well, starting with 5, CD14, first off, I agreed with caller to continue with Kevin DeLeon's business is unethical. This is Shanquito from District 21. We have been...
So, Speaker, I realized that item 5 we had voted on, but you can talk about it in general, so let's do 6 through 1 and 6 through 19 to begin with. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, the hybrid model definitely is something that should have happened a year and a half ago. I think that listening to the people and what the people's needs is not really the priority of this body. I'm very disappointed because I'm one of the few groups of people that were there weekly speaking on behalf of homeless resources, the discrepancies of LAFD, and due to our dismay, we don't have people that's following through on politics to know that saving plants and animals is okay, but right now we have humans that think other humans are monkeys. And I think we need to address this blatant racism before we continue on with any city business. Kevin DeLeon's homeless deputy, Matthew Chavez, refused to meet with Black homeless service providers who identified 4 warehouses where we can have emergency shelters to clean up the encampments, to clean up the highways so our children don't have to cross the street and step over needles and feces and stuff. You know, stuff that we stood before Nuri Martinez, while all the time that she thought that we were monkeys. So this monkey has a homeless strategy plan that you guys are not respecting. So you're still holding LAFD accountable, so this is apparently public comment, and then I'm gonna go back to 19.
Yep, thank you.
I find it appalling that when the people give you proposals, that you respect it. I find this body illegitimate. It is not respectful to Black, Oaxacan, Jews, Armenians. Now you have LAFD focusing on Latino homeless only, continue to play the race war. So the Black and brown unity, we want to see homeless proposals from every constituent. Put people in this office. If you don't want this body, who apparently doesn't care about the people's business, because we still have city council, right? So when you have agendas that's not focusing on the most important thing, as constituents, we have to be politically savvy to know what we're talking about. Black people are tired of being used as pawns. We are incarceration. We are the highest rate of homelessness, but yet it seems normal for every other race to continue to think that we're going to stay on the bottom. So District 21, you have entered into the Hunger Games. As of October 8th, 2022,
You can go into
city
general.
council is not effective. All right, so Agenda 19?
General public comment, please begin. You have a minute.
Okay. So we came down to city council for the last 4 months presenting a specific homeless plan for emergency shelters. The Los Angeles Homeless Services Authority has returned $150 million that we have personally investigated under Peter Lynn, Heidi Marston, Wendy Gruhl, and Mary Conway Wickham. Why are these people brought to light? Why isn't LAFD being brought to light? These are the things that we as LA constituents need to be unified at this point. You understand? You could plant a tree another time, but let's address this blatant racism, and your Black, Jew, Armenian neighbor can feel human, don't feel like they're used. So let's start knowing what our roles are. If you're born and raised here, you have a duty to make sure that we have a functioning city body before we continue anything else. So Kevin De Leon, Cedillo, keep holding on to your power. You're going to be dismantled. This is Pequeña Changuito from District 21, signing out. Power to the people.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits, 1172. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Yes, good morning. Am I being heard?
Hi, which items would you like to speak on?
All items in public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for items 1 and 6 through 19, followed by a minute for general. Please begin.
Yes, first of all, item 1, the dedication of city-owned real estate property. I agree with that. But I want to thank Mr. O'Farrell for what he's done, for allowing me to say aye to item 1, and to thank him for the great job he's done stepping in once we got the cancer and the corruption from the top. So thank you, Mr. Farrell. Also to Mr. Krikorian for the dedication of that property. I hope you support that. Now, Mr. Krikorian, you can become the foundation that we can finally eliminate corruption in the city of Los Angeles. Again, I'd rather see you become a legend than another lobbyist down at City Hall. On to the COVID. You know, a year ago, September, I lost my sister and my nephew in Colorado because they felt they didn't have to use their masks. A year later, they're both passed away and buried in their graves. Here I stand because this city stood its ground and said, we're going to hold the public accountable, and we're going to make sure that everybody wears their mask. It's not over, folks. Look what happened in San Diego with the flu. Let's continue this. I do not want to lose one person, even if I don't like you. I don't want to miss one person that speaks today, even if I don't agree with them, that, you know, at the next meeting I don't hear from them because they got COVID and died. So please continue the COVID safety measures so that we can again continue to meet. Let's just go on to public comment.
Sure.
You know, Mr. Krikorian, I said you could be the foundation, but as you sit there and as I'm watching you watching me, I hope you're watching me and hearing my voice, Mr. Bobble, you know what? You're part of that corruption that was side by side with Miss Martinez. And I'm asking Mr. Krikorian, I'm looking you straight in the eye, right here on the camera, I need you to get rid of everybody else that was associated and who took part and who denied public comment. Because you can say, wait a minute, how does this happen? How is it that someone's denied public comment if I'm the one that's head of this council, and then the people that receive the calls, and I used 3 phones many times and was denied public comment under Martinez. So if we're going to end the corruption, Mr. Bobble, please step down. Please step down and do something great for this city. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 6948. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, this is Matt Florin. I have a general comment regarding the Griffith Park Pony Ride.
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
Thank you. Good morning, Council. I've spoken to you twice before. The first time I took the approach of disgust and outrage and animal abuse. The second time in person was a plea of empathy, that you would never allow your cats or dogs to experience the same horrible life at Griffith Park. And finally, I'm calling in today to talk about a creative approach. Being entrepreneurially driven, we should hold an open pitch forum in the name of healthy competition to have businesses vie for the privilege of operating a business in that space. Let's have a request for a proposal, open it up to all business owners with a stellar track record, unlike the atrocities that are being perpetrated at Griffith Park now. The city will say they no longer support animal abuse, and we support businesses that don't cause suffering. How about that? Please consider allowing all the creative talent in our great city to show what is possible and get the city revenue that doesn't come from abuse. I'm happy to brainstorm and help create this competition offline. I'll give my contact information for anybody who needs. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 8916. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Yes, hi, good morning, everyone. I'd like to speak on general public comment, please.
Very good. You have a minute. Please begin.
Yes, thank you. Honorable council members, my name is Michael Fujimori, and I am with Los Angeles for Animals. I'm asking that you please do not renew the contract for the Griffith Park Pony Rides and to please close down this outdated and cruel form of entertainment, which is just another form of animal abuse. Los Angeles has always led the way in passing legislation against all forms of animal exploitation, and this is no different than the circus, bull riding, and rodeo. The ponies at Griffith Park are suffering and need to be given their freedom, and we have sanctuaries ready to take them in so they can live out the rest of their lives peacefully and not forced to work in the hot sun for 8 hours a day, every day carrying 60 to 70 pounds on their back, walking around in a circle. This is 2022 and not 1922, and we have evolved as a species to know this is wrong. Councilmember Rahman, respectfully, this business is in your district, so we ask you to please do what you can do to end the pony's misery and introduce a resolution. Close down this business and replace it with a non-animal model.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 7690. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
I'd like to speak on items 6, 7, and 8, and then general public comment.
Very good. So you have 3 minutes for those items, followed by a minute for general public comment. Please begin.
Okay, regarding the state of emergency with the COVID, I believe council should be meeting in person, not via these Zoom meetings. Just because you shut down, just because one person got COVID, Mike Bonin, well, let him do the Zoom meeting. Everybody else should be in chambers because you're losing the quorum. For example, yesterday, you lost quorum when you were down to 7 members, okay, because the technology is not solid enough and people can sign off, they can walk out of the room, you lost the quorum. So that means that now all items you voted on yesterday need to be reconsidered because members of public were giving their public comment on those items, not being heard by a quorum. And you voted for Council President Paul Krikorian after you had already lost a quorum. So once you lose a quorum and then the members return, it doesn't magically undo the fact you lost a quorum. Once you lose a quorum, that's it for the day. So I believe that you should be meeting in person. And although it is expensive and takes a lot of time to get downtown to the council meeting, it is a public meeting and that public meeting is where it is. So I believe that the public comment should be held there at the council chambers. If you notice, when you do it by phone, listen, not everybody has the money for a phone. It costs, what, 40, 50 bucks maybe for a phone? A lot of people don't have phones and they can't call in. So I don't know how you handle a hybrid because it would take up a lot of time. But in general, so I don't have the answer for that, even though I like to have all the answers all the time. So I'd like to just wrap it up by saying that there's a state of emergency for monkeypox that the mayor, Eric Garcetti, declared, mainly because he's most at risk and wants to have all services available in case he catches it. But in general, and I hope you agree, the meetings should be held in person. The President of the United States says we're no longer in a pandemic. He's the top Democrat. You're all Democrats. And again, you lose a quorum with these Zoom meetings. And I hope you do seriously address the fact that yesterday you lost the quorum before you voted for Paul Krikoyan president, and it needs to be redone because we need a legitimate body. Plus, the agenda items you voted on yesterday now need to be reconsidered. Now I'll move on to general public comment.
Okay.
Kevin De Leon, the worst audio of him has not been played by the media. It mainly focused on Nuri Martinez. So everybody go to YouTube and search new audio, Kevin De Leon, racist comments. Boy, the guy really has problems with white people. He's got a problem. He said the white liberals are his problem, not the Trump people from Orange County. They're not the problem. The problem are white liberals. And then he talked about the state Senate and the problem with the white senators. So I think if the people heard what he really has to say, then there'd be more of an outcry and more pressure on him. And how many meetings is somebody allowed to miss, skip for no reason at all other than they're scared to show up before they have to resign? And I suggest that City Council votes no on all agenda items from De Leon and Cedillo. They can put them up there, but don't vote yes on them. If you vote no, that'll put further pressure on them. And
thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last four digits 0224. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Good morning. I'd like to speak on items 3, 4, and 5.
Okay, so unfortunately we voted on those already, but you can talk about them in general public comment. So why don't we set the clock for a minute and you can talk about them that way, okay? So please begin.
Okay. So I only have 1 minute total for the 3 items?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. My name is George Bocanegra. I'm a member of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters. I live in the local area and live, work, and recreate in the vicinity of the project. I believe that I will be impacted by the environmental impact of the project. The city should require the project to be built with contractors that will hire locally, pay prevailing wages, and utilize apprentices from a state certified apprenticeship training program. Workforce requirements reduce construction-related environmental impacts while benefiting the local economy and workforce development. In a recent 2020 report titled Putting California on the High Road, a Jobs and Climate Action Plan for 2030, the California Workforce Development Board concluded that investments in growing, diversifying, and upskilling California's workforce can positively affect returns on climate mitigation efforts. The South Coast Air Quality Management District recently found that the local higher requirements can result in air pollutant reductions. The project does not qualify for SCPE exemptions because the project site is not located in the transit priority.
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you.
Speaker identified as call-in user 1. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Which items would you like to speak on?
Hi, I'd like to speak on 6, 7, and the continuation of the 4118 and general public comment, please.
Okay, so you can speak on 6 and 7. Because we've continued the other one, you can't speak on it as an item, but you can speak about it during general. So we'll give you 2 minutes for, I think you said 6 and 7, and then followed by a minute for general. So please begin.
Okay, thank you. Hi, I'm Ruth. I'm in-house, and I've been waiting for almost a year to address this council over the phone again. I think it was in like January I attempted to call in. The budget was supposed to be passed that day, and there was no more public comment over the phone arbitrarily. So that was kind of suspicious that Paul Kerkorian passed a budget by disabling public comment, and now he's trying to make himself president by making the meeting virtual. I don't think we should let him manipulate the public process by removing it when it's convenient for him and then holding a virtual meeting to suit his agenda. I want options. I want hybrid meetings. The city needs to call its internal racism a state of emergency. KDL and Gil need to resign. The tapes expose the illegitimacy of Heather and Mitch's positions. They need to resign as well. Council should break quorum to achieve this if necessary. While council was meeting remotely, my right to travel nearly 40 miles round trip was effectively revoked when the bike repair was banned and KDL made City Hall and Union Station LAMC 4118 zones. 43% of unhoused people in LA are disabled, and we're at an increased risk of dying categorically from COVID. I'm the only unhoused person that I know that has a phone, and I've only gotten to give one public comment this year. It was to Homelessness and Poverty Committee about Kevin De Leon and the mayor's appointment to the LAFD Commission, Jessica Lull. She oversaw the construction of 17,000 new housing units in downtown LA since 2012, and less than 3% of them were affordable. We need to talk about City Hall's anti-blackness disguised as anti-homelessness. 38% of unhoused people are black. LAMC 4118 has killed an additional one unhoused person per day in the first 5 months after it was implemented. That's on top of the 5 people who die publicly every day in LA. People called in, showed up.
You can go into general if you wish, Speaker.
Would kill people. I'm sorry?
You can go into general public comment if you wish.
Thank you. So those people that raised the issue that people were going to die over this motion, they were escorted out of the City Council chamber by LAPD so that their genocidal policymaking could evolve into full-blown social cleansing. This city is a eugenics experiment being run by LA 28, LAPD, and rogue U.S. Judge David O. Carter, and we all deserve so much more. Homeless people need to have a voice in the homeless strategy meeting, HHH oversight, Homelessness and Poverty Committee. Please find a way to meet the demand for the resignations or cancel the meeting by breaking quorum. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 3013. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Right?
Hi, which items would you like to speak on?
Hi, yes, I would like to speak on item 8 and public comment.
Very good. So you have a minute for item 8, followed by a minute for general public comment. Please begin.
Hi, my name is Rachel Carlson, and I'm an ACE member. I live in District 14, and I definitely believe that Kevin De Leon needs to resign. However, we and our allies encourage the council to vote to extend the local emergency period to avoid causing additional harm to vulnerable communities by allowing emergency renter protections to lapse. We don't agree with having a landlord as an override. Kerkorian has taken many anti-tenant votes and didn't let the Tahoe ordinance be passed. We ask for a council president who supports the tenants. And then for public comment.
Sure.
I just think, yes, I just really think that Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo need to resign. And I don't think that it was okay that they voted on a new council president without any public comments on who should be the new council president. So I don't believe that Kerkorian is a legitimate city council president. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 2203. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Good morning. I would like to speak on 8 and public comments.
Very good. So you have a minute for each. Please begin.
Thank you. I would like to still have Zoom meetings and hybrid, and it would be great if we can have meetings in person, like other people said. The president did say that COVID is calming down a lot more, and public schools and charter schools are not making the children wear face masks anymore unless they want to. So I would suggest that it would be great if we can have all three of them. And if anybody wants to wear a face mask, let them. By this way, you guys, when we have to go to the meetings in downtown LA, it is expensive, gas is expensive, and there's some elderly people that cannot drive anymore. And this is the only way that they can get their point across, through these Zoom meetings and calling in. Also, you guys get paid a lot of money, and it would be great that when we're saying our public comments, some of you guys are paying attention, but there's some of you guys that are talking to your staff, not paying attention to us.
You can go into general if you wish, Speaker.
Okay, thank you. And it's sad that Ms. Rodriguez is absent when she can be doing the meeting through Zoom, through her office. How is she representing our community? And it would be great, and I hope all of you guys do it, go to your neighborhood council meetings and give support to them, because those neighborhood council members do a lot of community work for free. Like the young lady from Reseda Neighborhood Council said, we do this work and we don't get paid. We don't have staff. And we take a lot of work home, time away from our families. So it would be great if you guys can please show some respect by going to our meetings. And also, Ms. Rodriguez needs to be investigated because her volunteers were saying some really racist things about the person she was running against. And for what she did, and let that owner of the pot shop, gave him a heads up when they were gonna do a raid, what if that person would have had a gun and shot those police officers?
Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits, 1617. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. What items would you like to speak on?
I think it's 6, 7, and 8.
Sure. So you got 3 minutes for the items. Please begin.
All right. My name's Sean Osborne from the Libertarian Party of Los Angeles County. There is no monkeypox emergency. There is no COVID emergency. I think you need to get rid of all these emergency things. They're insane. I mean, everything's going on around the whole city. You have football games, schools, everything's open. The whole thing's been illegitimate from the beginning, and it's just a control mechanism. If you believe the same thing, please come join us at the LA County website for the Los Angeles County Libertarian Party. Republicans didn't do anything to help fight against COVID here. My progressive friends that were against forced vaccinations and stuff like that, please join us here. We can work together on these kind of things. For the whole time I've been calling in for the last couple of years, I've heard black people, Korean people, Latinos talking about how the city council doesn't represent them. And we agree, they don't. The city council is corrupt and it should be abolished. It should be replaced with nothing. You can add more people to it, and it's just going to simply just get corrupted again. You can get somebody in there good for a year or two, and then it's going to get corrupted. That's the way government works. So please join us at the Los Angeles County Libertarian Party and help fight against this, and get rid of all the corruption in City Hall. They should replace it with just the neighborhood councils. That way people are represented where they live, and it's a little easier to work with a neighborhood council than it is with you guys. You guys don't, as many callers have said, you don't even listen to what we say. There's more people calling in about horses today than about COVID. I mean, that's how much of an emergency it is. So you guys are crazy if you think that there's still an emergency going on here. So please join us at the Los Angeles County Libertarian Party and help fight against this fascist city council. Abolish the city council. That's it. Thanks.
Speaker with the last four digits, 3902. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello, I'd like to make a public comment, please.
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
My name is Amanda Hedgepeth, and I'm calling today to be a voice for the voiceless. and that's for the animals that are at the Griffith Park and pony rides. Basically, people are making profit off of using animals, and I believe there's been over 80,000 people that have signed a petition. I've contacted the council member's office numerous times, and I get the same generic response back that a vet was sent. However, when I ask for the vet results or what the vet's findings were, I've never heard another single word about it. So please do the right thing. These are sentient beings. They have emotions. They feel pain. Would you like to be whipped for 8 hours a day in 100-degree weather with someone on your back? I don't think so. So please, do it for the animals. Send them all to a sanctuary. It's already been all arranged. Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits, 9711. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Is item 20 was continued, you said?
Sorry, you said item 20?
Yeah, am I allowed to speak on item 20?
Well, so it's been continued, so you can't speak on it as an item, but you can talk about it during general public comment. So we'll set the clock for a minute and you can talk about it then. So
all right, that's fine.
Please begin.
Yeah, so this is Jason with People City Council. Mike Bonin, you put out a thread yesterday detailing the legislation Nuri, KDL, and Cedillo killed, stalled, or weakened. But what about your best bud, Joe Buscaino? You know, the only council member who hasn't called for the resignations of these three? Mike, you said, and I quote, "We're not ready to pick a council president. We're still in the middle of this, and I think it's impossible for us to do anything with them still part of the council." What a hollow statement to make. You could have easily flexed your power on this one, but you cowered, right? The only moment of transformation you are participating in is the transformation of how anti-blackness will be displayed within this council. No resignations, no meetings. What happened to all the council members who shared in this call? Now, would any council members like to comment on the LAPD violence against black people that happened at City Hall yesterday as you all hid behind your screens? And lastly, with Paul Krikorian, the same guy who said off the bat, was defending Cedillo's participation in that conversation, saying that he wasn't, that he just stood by while those racist comments were made. You said your first task as president would be to restore public trust in City Hall.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last four digits, 0038. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello, I would like to speak on all items available on the agenda as well as general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for items 1 and 6 through 19, followed by a minute in general public comment. Please begin.
Alrighty, yeah, I'm just looking over here at this agenda here. We have matters regarding public health, COVID-19 exposure, monkeypox exposure, which are really important things. It's just unfortunate that in none of these items that I'm looking at, lacity.primegov.com, that it mentions anything about Cedillo, De Leon resigning. It's very unfortunate because these are very important things. And as much as people would like to get back to business, the most important business has not been addressed, and you keep skirting around it. As I look through all these agenda items that are on here for today, just one really important thing missing, and it's just so maddening that we keep trying to find ways to say we don't condone this while condoning it. It's hypocrisy, straight up. And I just don't understand why any of you are here. Right now, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people on quorum. Yesterday, when I was on the call and called in,
Speaker,
sorry
to cut in, but you,
let me speak.
sorry to cut in,
I got
Speaker.
1 minute, whatever. Let's do it. I'll put my timer on for 1 minute because you've
Speaker,
been hella extra.
Speaker, sorry
And
to cut
so
in, but
I
you seem, by your own acknowledgement, not to have been on the items. That was general. So do you actually want to speak on items 1 and 6 through 19?
My minute timer, you got your minute timer because you're wasting time, and I don't appreciate it. And y'all already owe me 15 seconds from last Tuesday when you cut me off. So stop. In any case, yesterday, I counted for.
So, Speaker, I'm confused as to what item you're on. Are you on?
I moved on to general public comment.
So you already did general public comment in that case. So
Yes.
we'll move on to the next speaker.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, that's actually.
Speaker with the last four digits, 3779. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, yes, I'd like to speak. Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Which items would you like to speak on?
Hi, yes, I'd like to speak on items 6 and a couple of others I can't remember, but also general public speak, if you please.
Okay, so let's assume it's 3 items in the part that you can speak on. So we'll set it at 3 minutes. Please stick to the agenda items 1 and 6 through 19, and then we'll give you a minute for general. So please begin.
Marvelous. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. The public comment as well. So yes, definitely. I would like to address, first of all, that the homeless issues is definitely a problem that we have to address. Obviously, we can't push them from city to city, and we could, find ways to maybe properties where people could go, because there are so many empty properties. Secondly, I want to say congratulations to Mr. Krikorian for being voted in as the president, whether it's interim president or permanent. I certainly hope you are willing to hear us and all the American, every life, every being's right to be protected. And thirdly, and most importantly, I'd like to make a point that our rights are every being's right. I'm sorry, did you try to say something?
Yeah, it sounds like you're off the agenda items. Do you want to go to general public comment now?
No, I still am. In regards to the COVID as well, I want to also address about that if you could continue having phone conversations, not only in person once you open up the doors, this would be a very, helpful way to hear the public instead of the public blowing out of proportion with the anger, the frustration, rightfully so, with all the discrimination and not being heard. This could always be helpful. So general comments is going to be I'm going to address Nithya Raman. I am your constituent, and I am a bit frustrated at this point that the cry of our cry and the animals' cry of help has been ignored. I know you have it in your heart that you are compassionate, but please do the right thing and put a motion, like an ordinance, to end the pony rides and petting zoo in Griffith Park. There is a crime going on as we speak every single day. These animals are suffering. Animal suffering is no different than human suffering, a child suffering, our dog, our cat suffering. We do not like seeing it because we do not want our souls to hurt. We are body, mind, and soul. That's how we are complete. And we cannot ignore the fact that when they are suffering, they're looking up to us and they need our help. Please put that motion in, please. I have voted for you, and I had hundreds of people to vote for you. Yet David Rue has ended the wild animal suffering. I need you to do this because I do not, I am ready to go the other way.
Thanks, Speaker.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 1132. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi, my name is David Bolog. I'm a resident in Granada Hills. John Lee's my council member. I'd like to speak on items number 8 and general comment.
Sure. So you have 1 minute for each. Please begin.
Yeah, I don't understand how we still have an emergency going on for COVID. Everybody's out back to work. We have a big Super Bowl party. Beaches are full. I don't know justification for it. I'd ask that you end it. Supposed to end it as soon as possible. And regarding general comment, we have the employee vaccine mandate that was pushed forth by the AFL-CIO, the LA County Federation. That's apparent by Ron Hara and the recordings with Billy Martinez, Kevin De Leon, and Gil Cedillo saying that they want to maintain their positions, even with what they talked about, and even that he knew that ordinance has caused a lot of people a lot of suffering unneeded because they did not want to be part of taking a medical experiment that they didn't feel was necessary or right for them. But to maintain employment because of that, I'm kind of beside myself right now as I'm thinking about it and things to say because that's just wrong. Don't force something into somebody's body that's a medical rate to do that. So So I ask you general comment to please resend the AFL-CIO employee vaccine mandate 187-134. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last four digits, 8983. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello, my name is Lindsay Baker, and I'm a citizen journalist and former educator here in Los Angeles, and I would like to speak on all items.
Okay.
Also general public comment.
Sure. So you have We'll set the clock for 3 minutes for the items. Please stick to the items, and then we'll go to general. So please begin.
Okay, so I don't spend a lot of time going to these meetings unless there's something that in particular that I care about, like most people. And I haven't come in about a year, but what I'm seeing with the language, the hate, the division, the will of the people being ignored. If there are people on the council that do not belong there any longer, then they should be removed at least until hearings are held to investigate and figure out what's going on. I just hear so much hate, and it's scary. It's kind of, and the other with these people, these public servants that are supposed to be serving us, and they get called to resign, they don't resign. This is Trumpism. This is denial of the will of the people, and the country is going to crumble. We don't care about each other. There's racism.
So, Speaker, sorry to cut in, but it sounds like you were doing general public comment. Do you want to speak on items 1 or 6 through 19?
No, I want to continue on public comment.
That you cannot do. So you've exhausted your time. We'll move on to the next speaker then. Thank you.
I'd like to say I'm against the pony rides. Show some compassion.
Speaker identified as call-in user 3. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Speaker, which items do you want to speak on? Speaker, which items do you want to speak on? All right, so we'll move on to the next speaker.
Speaker with the last four digits identified as 5694. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello?
Hi, which items would you like to speak on?
I would like to speak on general public comment.
Very good. You have a minute. Please begin.
Hi, good morning, City Council. I am calling because I have a community event announcement to make. For Halloween, October 29 and October 31st from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., we're going to be having a haunted house that is open to the public, to everyone in the community can come in, and including trick-or-treaters. And the haunted house is located at 10039 Pinewood Avenue in Tahunga, California, 91042. And I would like to also ask that you please make public comment available by telephone or Zoom, because a lot of people cannot afford to take a day off work just to come to the City Council meeting. And there are people who don't have access to transportation to get to City Hall to make public comments. So I'd like to ask public comment be available by telephone.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits, 1881. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello?
Speaker?
Hello?
Yeah, which items do you want to speak on?
Rick Caruso for mayor.
All right, I think we've lost you. All right, we'll move on to the next speaker.
Speaker with the last four digits, 2616. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello?
Hi.
Did you call me Eric Previn?
We're calling you now, so which items would you like to speak on, Mr. Previn?
Okay, I'll speak on the 6, 7, and 8, and also a general public comment.
Okay, so you have 3 minutes for 6, 7, and 8, and then a minute for general, so please begin.
I think the first thing that's come up is that we have to get rid of Mr. DeLeon and Mr. Cedillo, but we also have to sort of address the Krikorian installation, because this is a guy who, you know, arose as the best choice among what was available. But as many of the speakers have mentioned, what we have is sort of a systemic problem. So what Krikorian is good at doing is maneuvering and adjusting the policies and systems that we have in place that are corrupt effectively. So that's not to say, you know, I mean, you could decide if he's corrupt yourself. I mean, you take 20 donations from Harvard Westlake and then you help them rewrite the planning, zoning, and get all their stuff organized. Well, then we don't, because it moves to the other thing, and then he gives it to Rahman. You know, it takes an expertise that's effective. And you can't do it alone. You need a network. You need friends and people helping, like Irene, who left his office as the chief of staff, and then
So sorry to cut in, Mr. Previn, but it sounds like you were on general public comment for that last minute. Do you want to talk on 6, 7, or 8?
Thank you. And so, you know, I think you have to applaud the man for being effective, but is that what we need?
So,
you know, he put up behind his
so thank you, Mr. So, Mr. Previn, do you want to talk about items 6, 7, or 8?
The last division of the city council that was considered effective because
Mr.
nobody
Previn,
could
last
breathe
chance.
because Herb Weston ran it like a tyrant.
So, Mr.
And that's the
Previn.
question for Krikorian. Is he willing to, you know, expose
Okay, so let's
the
move on
regular
to the
public
next
who
speaker.
participate in these meetings through hybrid?
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 6580. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Yes. Hi, this is Michelle Hope Walker, general comment. The first thing I want to say is yes, the two need to resign, but I'm still very concerned about the systemic racism in LA City Council. So even when we look at the president, we look at where Bonin, we thought Bonin, but then I guess because he's with the blacks, y'all didn't want Bonin. And then Curran was on the news, Curran Price was on the news talking about how he's available, and they talked about maybe then putting, since it was so anti-black, putting Curran up there as president, but I guess they didn't want him because you all didn't want him because he's black. And now I'm hearing a lot about Paul Krikorian, and I'm concerned that he doesn't hire blacks in his office, that he doesn't talk to his black constituency, and I know there's blacks in North Hollywood. So I'm very concerned. I'm a black woman, and I have an organization, Justice for Black Women. And again, you know, we need the two out, but also we need to make sure there's not an anti-black still system in place at the LA City Council, which is I'm watching how people move and what people say. I'm very concerned, just very, very concerned as a constituency. Just very constituent, just very concerned.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last 4 digits, 0700. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on. Speaker with the last 4 digits, 0700. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Speaker, if you're there.
Hi, Gregory Downer.
Which items would you like to speak on?
1 minute general, please.
Okay, so you have a minute. Please begin.
Thank you. The purpose of government is to uphold people's rights, and if that isn't happening, it's a dereliction of duty. And if you move in the other direction, it's tyranny. And you can't force, government can't force against disease. It needs to completely withdraw and let people make their own decisions as to how they protect themselves. That would be upholding their rights. For homelessness, upholding rights would be upholding people's property rights. When you allow people to congregate on public easements, which are still private property owners' parcels, you violate those owners' private property rights. That is a dereliction of duty again. Per the abhorrent racism, I think it's the tip of the iceberg.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last four digits, 5100. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Good morning, and thank you. My name is Dorita Jones, and I'd like to talk on items number 8 and public comment, please.
Very good. So you have a minute for each. Please begin.
Thank you so much. I'm actually a constituent of CD10, and I'm part of ACE Action Los Angeles. I'm sure you've heard us outside, the Los Angeles Tenants Union, which of course we're outside again, and other organizations within the community. And as far as number 8, we'd like an extension of the tenant protections right now. We can't ignore that tenants are still suffering and our fellow unhoused citizens. We can't ignore the numbers that are growing in spite of the erroneous counting of the numbers of our homeless people. We cannot go back to normal. We are entering a time when a 20-pack of eggs is $8.99, and bacon is even more. Our school children are trying to catch up. Protections are needed for the renters and the city to truly recover. And as far as my public comments, as a native Angelino, I'm actually appalled and embarrassed by the recordings of our elected officials. I'm sure you've all heard this. They have committed treason against our city, and they've undermined our democracy. De Leon and Cedillo simply and politely just resign and leave. They're there, and we cannot heal as the 4 million people in the city of Los Angeles. Their areas have spoken, the insulted have spoken, everything that they've touched in this past year, if not beyond, is corrupted. They cannot continue, and we cannot continue to further compensate people that clearly hate us. So I just want to let you know that to start the restoration and the trust to be regained in the city of LA.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker with the last four digits, 3578. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello?
Hi, which items would you like to speak on?
Hola, muy buenos días. Necesito traductor.
Momento.
Hello. Ok, gracias.
Señora, ¿cuáles son los puntos que usted quisiera tratar hoy día?
Claro que sí, voy a hablar sobre el número 8 y un comentario público.
Number 8 and public commentary.
Great, so you have 1 minute for each. Please begin.
Tiene un minuto para cada uno, por favor comience.
Gracias. Bueno, ACE y nuestros aliados estamos invitándolos, alentando al Consejo.
ACE and their allies is encouraging you guys, the City Council,
para que voten para extender el periodo de emergencia para proteger a nuestros inquilinos.
to vote for the extension for protecting the tenants.
Han causado muchos daños a las comunidades más vulnerables. ¿Quieren seguir haciéndolo? Necesitan votar ahora y que las protecciones sean extendidas o más aún, sean permanentes para proteger a nuestros inquilinos.
You guys have caused too much damage to vulnerable people, and it's time now to extend the protections for the tenants.
Voy a hacer mi comentario público. Quiero recalcar que nos mantenemos firmes en las demandas de que renuncie Kevin de León y Gil Cedillo.
My public commentary is that we want to highlight the demand for Gil Cedillo and Kevin De Leon to
Y por último, no estamos de acuerdo en tener un presidente como Gregorian, que ha hecho muchos votos anti-inquilinos y que él fue uno de los que nos echó abajo o no se hizo que se fundara la ley Tajo.
to resign. And then also, we are not in accordance with Paul Krikorian to be the president because he voted a lot of times against the tenants and he threw us down with the law.
Queremos un presidente o queremos que llene la silla alguien que se ponga a hacer lo que la comunidad necesita, que también apoya a los inquilinos.
We need a president that is going to do the work that needs to do as well as to make moves to protect the tenants.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Speaker with the last four digits, 3605. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on. Speaker with the last four digits, 3605. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hi.
¿Aló?
Hello. Which items would you like to speak on?
Necesito traductor. ¿Aló?
Hello.
Necesito
Please
traductor.
continue.
Mi nombre es Victoria Enrique. ¿Sí? Mi nombre es Victoria Enríquez. Yo soy miembro de ACE y quiero hacer un comentario público.
My name is Victoria Enriquez. I'm a member of ACE and I want to make a public commentary.
Please begin.
Por favor, comience.
Nosotros estamos estamos firmes a que Kevin de León y Gil Cedillo que renuncien porque no han hecho nada, solamente han hecho a ofender a la comunidad, ha hecho mucho daño y también queremos. ¿Sí?
We're here because we stand firm that Kevin De Leon and Gil Cedillo resign because they haven't done anything and furthermore they have offended us and caused damage.
Y queremos también un presidente que ayude a la comunidad, no a que hagan daño y también queremos que extiendan las protecciones para los inquilinos.
We also want a president that is with us and doesn't cause any damage, and we also want the extension for the tenants to be extended, the protection.
Porque eso que hicieron mucho daño a la comunidad, a los asiáticos, a los centroamericanos, a todos nos ofendieron.
They have
Que por
damaged.
favor que renuncien. Gracias.
They need to resign, please, because they have offended the community, the Asian community, the Central American community, and just they need to quit.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Speaker with the last four digits, 8991. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Hello?
Hi. Which items would you like to speak on?
I'd like to do a public comment, or actually a statement.
Please go ahead. You have a minute.
Hello? Yeah. Okay. I'd just like to speak on behalf of the community of Latinos. I just didn't appreciate how the council members, made these racist comments. Now it's all over. You guys just shot yourselves in the foot. You know what I mean? And it's like we need to do better than that. You know what I mean? You guys need to be stronger than that, be better than that, and get involved with the communities. And I'm just offended. I'm offended by those comments. Not only just the Latino community, but also the Black community. I'm not from here, so, but I came from, from another city, and it's like I come down here and this is what I hear. You know what I mean? Is this what democracy is about? No. So I just invite you guys to do your jobs. And you know what? As a matter of fact, those people that are on your council right now, they should be held accountable. I don't care who it is.
Thank you, Speaker.
Speaker identified as call-in user 4. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on. Speaker identified as call-in user 4. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
So what we have is somebody with a block number, so all we can identify it is speaker 4 in our queue. So if you're dialing in via block number and you are still waiting to speak, please. So, okay. All right, so thank you, Speaker. We're going to move on to the next.
Speaker with the last 4 digits 0186. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Yeah, public comment.
Sure, you have a minute. Please begin.
Parker Corian, where are you staying at these days? You on Woodbridge or Landale?
Speaker, you dropped off, it appears.
Speaker with the last 4 digits 8271. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on. Speaker with the last 4 digits 8271. Please press *6 to unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Speaker, if you hear us, please press *6 right away to unmute. Otherwise, we'll have to move on to the next person. I think we should move on then.
Speaker with the last 4 digits 2251. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
I'm here to talk on the item of the horses at Griffith Park and general public comment.
Okay, so the horses at Griffith Park would be general public comment because it's not on the
That
agenda.
that is part of that, right? Okay.
So we'll give you a minute. Please
Perfect.
begin.
Thank you. I wanted to say that to let you know that without training horses, there was a team of psychologists that showed 28 horses several pictures of unfamiliar faces, either angry or smiling. Then they had the people from the images meet the horses wearing neutral expressions. And in each case, the horses responded negatively to the people presented as angry and positively to those shown as happy. The findings show that not only do horses recognize and react to emotions, but they have a memory for them. They can remember how people presented themselves emotionally and respond accordingly. Horses are particularly socially intelligent, and they are the first non-human mammal known to have the ability to recognize, analyze, respond, and remember human emotions. Please remember that they thrive in groups and suffer from loneliness just as humans do. And I really hope that everything you can do in your power to shut down the use of horses at Griffith Park, it would mean the world to us, to the world.
Thank you.
Speaker with the last 4 digits 7543. Please unmute yourself and identify the items you'd like to speak on.
Good morning. Line Mars, Council District 6 resident. General public comment, please.
You got it. You have 1 minute. Please begin.
Yes, thank you, council members. I am a resident of Sun Valley, California. And as a resident, I hope that when we have a special election, that the next council person will listen to our concerns, because I've spoken to my neighbors. Their vehicles have been stolen. Cadillac converter theft has risen in my community. Nuri Martinez, former councilmember Nuri Martinez has not done anything to improve my community, my neighborhood. And I've been working as an activist and public advocate for the past 2 years, advocating for my community of Sun Valley. We have been neglected by the Los Angeles City Council, and I pleaded for help from other fellow activists to help me to represent my neighborhood, because the City Council has not done anything, and I want to live in a nice neighborhood, and there's speed racing.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Colleagues, that concludes our public comment for today. We heard public comment for 1 hour and 40 minutes.
and we heard from everyone who dialed in. So thank you all for taking the time to give your voice on this day. That brings us to be able to vote on some items. I believe items are available to vote are 1 and 6 through 19. Is that accurate?
That is accurate, Mr. President. And for the record, the ordinances for items 2 and 4 will be held over for second consideration to Wednesday, October 26, 2022.
Thank you so much. With that,
Mr. President?
we actually need to wait. I'm waiting for our one more member to make themselves present before we take the vote. Let's just wait a moment.
Mr. President?
Yes, Mr. Buscaino.
Thank you, sir. Can I hold 6 and 8 for a no vote on the items that you just mentioned?
Sir, did you say 6 and 8 for an amendment?
No, just for a separate no vote.
Separate votes,
please.
yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's state for the clarification for those separate votes and the items we're available to vote on.
Those items would be items 1 through 5 and 7, 9 through 19.
Wonderful. We are now ready to vote on those items. Please call the roll.
Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Buscaino, aye.
Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Cedillo absent. De Leon absent. Hutt.
Aye.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price. Absent. Rahman.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Absent. 10 ayes, and these items are adopted.
Thank you. That brings us, I believe, to item 6 for a separate vote. Having said that, let's call the roll for item 6.
Blumenfield.
Aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Buscaino.
Buscaino, no.
Cedillo. Absent. De Leon absent. Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Hutt.
Yes.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price. Absent. Rahman.
Yes.
Rodriguez. Absent. 9 ayes and 1 no. Item 6 is adopted.
Thank you. That brings us to item 8, also requested for a separate vote. Let's open the roll on item 8.
Blumenfield.
Blumenfield, aye.
Bonin.
Bonin, aye.
Would you please repeat that, sir?
Bonin, aye.
Thank you. Buscaino.
Buscaino, no.
Cedillo absent. De Leon absent. Harris Dawson.
Yes.
Hutt.
Aye.
Koretz.
Aye.
Krikorian.
Aye.
Lee.
No.
O'Farrell.
Aye.
Price. Absent. Rahman.
Yes.
Rodriguez absent. 8 ayes, 2 noes. Item 8 is adopted.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. What is next on our agenda?
Mr. President, Council has motions for posting and referral. Motions will be posted on the City Clerk's website shortly after the meeting for the public's viewing. To subscribe to receive copies of today's Council motions to your email, please visit clerk.lacity.org.
Thank you. Posted and referred. And where does that leave us now?
The desk is clear, Mr. President.
Thank you. Members, any announcements today? Any announcements? Seeing as there are no announcements, please all rise for adjourning motions. Any adjourning motions? It looks like I'm going to start today with a very sad one. Mary Oliver from Department of Cultural Affairs. It is with a heavy heart that we adjourn in honor of Mary Oliver, a beloved team member at the Department of Cultural Affairs As the registrar for the Artists Slide Registry, Mary was instrumental in managing and developing this important resource for artists, curators, academic institutions, sister arts and cultural institutions, and public art projects. In addition to the Artist Slide Registry, Mary managed the Los Angeles Municipal Art Gallery's extensive archive, which dates back to the gallery's founding in 1954. And as the longest-running institution dedicated to exhibiting art in Los Angeles, Mary's immense knowledge and experience with the gallery's exhibitions and history were vital in crafting programming, as well as providing invaluable insights and information to the various local, national, and international arts colleagues in their research endeavors. As the curator at the Henry P. Rio Bridge Gallery at City Hall, Mary led all aspects of exhibitions and worked with city council offices, various institutions, and individual artists with the utmost professionalism and diplomacy. The exhibitions at the Bridge Gallery showcased the work of youth, adults, and seniors enrolled in city arts programs, as well as themed exhibitions celebrating the city's Heritage Month celebrations. As an integral part of the Museum Education Program, MET, at the Municipal Art Gallery, Mary worked closely with art instructor Marta Feinstein to pivot this program during the COVID-19 pandemic to be presented for the first time online to students of all ages and abilities. They successfully navigated through this new live virtual experience together with the classes and the communities served. Mary's family was a big source of pride for her. Her husband, Tom, would often bring her children and grandchildren, Trevor, Connor, Kayla, and Lily, to visit the Municipal Art Gallery and participate in the free family workshops. Outside of DCA and the Municipal Art Gallery, Mary sang in her church choir, did social work, traveled, collected handmade ceramics, enjoyed walking through the Barnsdall Arts Center, enjoyed live theater performance, as well as many other joys. And I know that virtually all of our staff members worked closely with her, and she will be sorely missed by the entire city family. Mary Oliver, may she rest in peace. And colleagues, are there any other adjourning motions? I do not see any hands raised. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.